Hi viewers, in this class we are going to learn the particular method of learning which is known as imprinting. Under this topic we will discuss introduction to the imprinting, definition of imprinting, stimuli for imprinting and whether there is any sensitive period for imprinting, consequences of imprinting and finally the imprinting in mammals. According to the Morgan and King, the two scientists, they define learning as a partial or complete change in the behavior of an organism due to either experience or training. It is known as the learning. There are three important points to be noted from the definition. That is, number one, some change is seen in the behavior of animal due to learning. Changes that are occur due to growth, maturity and drugs cannot be considered as the learning. And the change which has been taken place should exist temporarily or permanently within the organism. Then only it should be considered as the learning. And the most important thing for learning is readiness of the organism. Readiness is the fundamental feature of the learning process. The organism that is in the ready state will be stimulated easily by the environmental stimuli. And we can we can say that knowing to release an appropriate response to a direct stimulus is known as the learning. This is a appropriate definition of the learning, that is knowing to release, how we can react to the environmental stimuli, how we will give an appropriate response is nothing but the learning. And there are different attitudes of learning, namely imprinting, habituation, classical conditioning, instrumental conditioning and trial and error learning, etc. These are the different attitudes of the learning process. Let us start with the imprinting. Imprinting can be defined as the learning behavior obtained in the organism by unerasable imprint in the initial stage of the life of the organism. In the childhood stage of the life of the organism is known as the imprinting. And if you see the hatchlings which are newly born, they learn to go along with a movable object in the absence of the mother, actually to which they are exposed for the first time in their life. Those hatchlings which are come out from the egg in the absence of mother, to which they are exposed first, they follow the movable object. And Conrad Lorenz was the scientist who taught the ducklings to follow him. In the later stages, they are bounded to their mother, and there is an experiment done on these ducklings. If both the mother and Lorenz are present there and they move in different ways, the mother goes one side and Lorenz goes another side, the ducklings they tend to move towards the Lorenz, not towards the mother. And one more thing we should remember, that imprinting is irreversible. It never reversed. And imprinting is done in a sensitive period of the development of the organism, and neither before and nor beyond the sensitive period the imprinting may takes place. Here the ducklings, they are following their mother, and later on, if the mother goes one side and Conrad Lorenz goes another side, the ducklings following the Conard Lorange. Imprinting is considered as a special kind of learning. It is considered by Hen in the year 1964. In order to know about the imprinting, we have to discuss three things mainly. Number one, which kind of stimulus is very essential for the imprinting process? Whether there is any sensitive period for imprinting in the developmental ages of the individuals, whether there is any end to this sensitive period, and what are the consequences of the imprinting which has been taking place in the childhood stage, what are the consequences that will happen in the future, otherwise in the adult animals. And you see, we will discuss the first factor, that is which kind of stimulus is required for the process of imprinting. The first place taken by optic stimuli. These are very very precious in the process of imprinting, and that is proven by Conard Lorange, because the light acts like an important stimuli for the process of imprinting. And the second place taken up by sound. Sound also play an important role as a stimulus in the process of imprinting. This is also proven by Gottlieb. Gottlieb experiments on the mallard ducks. Mallard ducklings able to observe the sounds of their own species birds during hatching. When they were in eggs, inside the eggs, they able to listen to the sounds of their own species birds. After hatching, after they come out from the eggs, they give priority to the sounds of the own species of birds than the sounds of other birds. That indicates that sound also plays an important role in the process of imprinting. Here we can observe that. So these are the eggs, and they used to listen to the sounds of the same species birds. After coming out from the eggs, they easily identify the sounds of own species birds and they give priority. And when you compare to the other sounds, they give priority to the own sounds of the own species birds. And coming to the second one, that is whether there is any specific sensitive period in the lifetime of the individuals for the process of imprinting. In initial stage of development of organism, the nervous system is in a specific state for a certain period of time. Later on, it may ends. Nervous system do not respond to the stimuli meant for imprinting after this specific sensitive period. So whatever the imprinting should take place, that should take place within the period of sensitive stage. Before that and beyond that, it may not take place. And there were experiments done by Guyton. According to the experiments of Guyton, the chicklings grown in a crowd, as a crowd, they stop moving along with movable objects after 3 days of incubation. That indicates that after the incubation period, after they come out from the eggs, the 3 days is very crucial. That is the sensitive period for the imprinting. And the chicklings which were grown in a crowd, they are imprint among each other, with each other, and the chicklings which were grown independently, solitarily, they have more sensitive period when compared to the chicklings which were grown in a crowd. And imprinting is very useful and has a adaptive value for the survival of the organism. According to the Boyd and Fabricius, mallard ducklings do not leave their nest for 2 days by the time the specific sensitive period ends. Hence, they imprint among themselves within these 2 days of time which were present within the nest during the sensitive periods. So these are the mallard duck and ducklings. And the third one is consequences of the imprinting. Many specific changes have occurred in the behavior due to the experience of childhood, and there is a special case where that is known as the sexual imprinting. Those birds that are grown up at surrogate mother of other genus, they tend to mate and show courtship behavior with the birds belongs to the surrogate mother. This was proven by Conrad Lorange. For example, the turkey fowls that are imprinted to the humans, they tend to mate and show courtship behavior with the human beings. And the second example is the roosters imprinted to the cardboard boxes. They tend to show mating and courtship behavior with the cardboards only. So that is the consequences are indifferent due to the imprinting which is take place in the early childhood stage. So this is the uh, turkey fowl and the human being, and second one is the roosters and the cardboard boxes. And there are other experiments done by different scientists. Immelman was the scientist. He made many experiments on the birds. What he did is, what he observed is, the eggs of zebra finch are incubated along with the eggs of the Bengali finch. And later on, after the hatching, the birdlings are separated and grown up to the adult stage. The male zebra finches show courtship behavior and show tendency to mate with female Bengali finches, even though the female zebra finches are inviting for the mating. Although they are available, they tend to mate with the Bengali finches only. And if you release the male zebra finches and the only female zebra finches, they are released outside at a time, the males show some negligence towards the female zebra finches, but later on they mate with them. So that indicates that prior to the separation of these small zebra finchlings, the male zebra finches are imprinted with the Bengali finch mother. And imprinting during the childhood facilitates the adult to select its life partner. It is very important point to be remembered. Imprinting during the childhood that facilitates the adult to select its life partner. And if you see furthermore, according to the Schulz, only male ducklings undergo imprinting. According to his idea, the male ducklings only undergo the imprinting, not the female ducklings. And here we are observing the zebra finches, and these are the Bengali finches. And later on, see here the zebra finch versus Bengali finch. And finally, imprinting in the mammals. How the imprinting takes place and what are the consequences of the imprinting in the case of mammals. The first one, imprinting involves in the socialization of the mammals. There is a great socialization in the human beings and other mammals. Imprinting involves in the socialization of the mammals. And if you take into consideration the wild animals, at early young age, if you tame them properly, they show much great domestic behavior. So, as the age advances, if you tame them also, the domestic behavior is comparatively less if you tame them in the young age or early stage of the development. So, this is also one kind of the imprinting. High domestication of the early animals if you tame, so that is also they develop the high domestic behavior. That is also one kind of imprinting. And the olfactory experience of the mammals that facilitate the selection of their life partner. Those olfactory olfactory senses that they are experienced during their childhood that facilitates the mammals to select their life partner. And if you see furthermore, adult rats, mice, and the guinea pigs, they are attracted towards the olfactory stimulus of organisms that they have experienced during the childhood. This is also proven by the Carter and Meyer. Carter and Meyer stated that the adult rats, mice, guinea pigs are attracted towards the olfactory stimulus of organisms that they have experienced during their childhood stage. So these are the wild animals. If you tame them at the early age, they develop high domestication. And this is the guinea pig and this is the rat. And according to Scott and Fuller, based upon their experiments, in dogs, the age of 3 to 10 weeks, it is highly sensitive. They form social bonding with the organisms of same species in this duration. If pups are grown separately, after 14 weeks, they do not respond in relation to imprinting, and moreover, their behavior is abnormal in the future. And during sensitive period, if they see human beings for a little span of time, then in latter stages they behave normally with the humans. If they do not see any human being in the sensitive period and they respond abnormally. Surprisingly, there is a sexual imprinting is observed in the dogs also. Like the birds, dogs also show courtship behavior with the humans. This comes under the sexual imprinting of the dogs. So these are the dogs. And according to the Bowlby, childhood experiences cause an unerasable imprint in the latter stage of the life, in the adult stage of the lives. The age between 18 months to 3 years is the sensitive period, and the experiences faced during this stage helps in the proper development of the individuals. If in this stage, in this sensitive period, if you detach the child from the mother, then that leads to worse consequences in the future. So in the sensitive period, the child should attach with the mother, has the bond with the mother. Childhood stage is more in mammals. The effect of imprinting is somewhat modified by experiences and learning. There is every possibility. For example, in rhesus monkeys, experience has more importance than the imprinting because experiences modify and enhance their behavior throughout the life, and they have enough time to learn the things through the experiences, different experiences. So this is the observation in the rhesus monkeys. This is all about the imprinting in the different animals. For more videos, watch and subscribe my YouTube channel Swami Zoology. Thank you. Thank you one and all.